Hi guys, Alec, Peirce, Scuba Tech Tips. Here we are again at the AquaSub Scuba Diving Center, and I have one of our main instructors, Helen, here today to give me a hand to demonstrate weight deployment or weight placement, because this comes up all the time. Every time I mention weights or BCDs, I get comments. Well, I don't, and everything else. So I thought I would just quickly run through this with you, just quickly, okay? Most modern BCs, upgraded BCs, sometimes if you get the bare basic model, the most economical model, maybe a rental or a training BC, it won't have weight integration. But the minute you pay more, $5 more for a BC than the base model, you get weight integration. Weight integration, what does that mean? Well, weight integration very simply means that the BC that you're buying will accept weights. You can put weights into the BC. Rather than having them separate from the BC, you can combine them with the BC. So most new BCs, certainly upgraded BCs, will have a pocket of some sort back here. Now some are pretty fancy. Some have fancy clips on them and special things you pull to drop the weights and everything else. And some are fairly simple. This BC is fairly simple. So there's a pocket back here with a zipper on it. And you see, you can take a weight and put it inside the BC like that. Just as simple, and zip it. So you can adjust your weights on the BC. Now this is great for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's much, much easier on your body. If you all know, if you've worn much in the way of weights, certainly if you dive in cold water, so you're wearing a 7 mil wetsuit, you know that you could be wearing 15, 20, 30, 35 pounds. How much weight do you wear in a wetsuit? How much?
28 to 30.
28, with a wetsuit on though. Yeah. Anyway, a lot of larger divers, and Kevin is what we would call a larger diver, wear a lot of weights. 25, 35 pounds would not be uncommon. If you have all that weight on a weight belt around your back, I don't care how strong or how young you are, you're going to have a sore back at the end of a long dive. So being able to put some of the weights into the BC has one major advantage. It spreads the weight out over your body. It doesn't matter on your body within reason where the weights are. They all contribute to your negative buoyancy, and that's what you really want. So putting some of the weights into the BC is really nice. Now the different BCs will also have different mechanisms. You need to look at them all. They'll have different mechanisms to get rid of those weights. So even though this principle started in the 50s with quick release buckles, Mike Nelson and Sea Hunt had a quick release buckle. The theory being if you had a problem, you could drop your weights and go to the surface. Well, that's the theory. But anyway, that has carried on all these years. 60 years later, we still do the same thing. We always have a quick release system for the weight. So even if you have a buoyancy compensator that's weight integrated, that accepts the weights in different pockets, there'll be some system for dropping them quickly. Okay, having got through that, you stay still. Having got through that, what about divers who wear a lot of weights? I get comments from divers and say, well, I only wear 6 pounds of weights. Well, I got news for you. First of all, you don't wear only 6 pounds of weights if you have a wetsuit on. Or if you do have a wetsuit on, that wetsuit must be almost worn out. It has practically no buoyancy at all. Your body alone needs 3 to 5 pounds of weight just to be able to submerge. Your body is positively buoyant. Most people anyway. Normal people, you take that any way you want. So normally you would need 3 to 5 pounds of weight anyway. If you're wearing a wetsuit, then the amount of weight you need increases and increases rapidly. On a 3 mil suit, 4, 5, 6 pounds. A 5 mil suit, 8 to 10 pounds. If you go into a 7 mil suit for very cold water, as I mentioned, you might need 15 to 20 pounds or even more, depending on your size. And the size is only a factor because the bigger person you are, the more wetsuits you need. And it's a wetsuit that creates the buoyancy. Okay? Generally, a BC will have a rating on it as to how much weight it's designed to accept. And generally, that rating is very optimistic. What I mean is this, a BC will have a rating that says you can put 16 pounds into that BC. Well, maybe. I have seen BCs that have a 16-pound rating, and you might be able to force 16 pounds in. I suppose if you melted the lead and poured it into the pockets, you could get 16 pounds. That's about the only way. They're a little optimistic. So if a BC will normally carry, if it says it'll carry 16 pounds, you might get 12 into it comfortably. You don't want to go around with 2 great big cement blocks on each side. And if you get too many weights in there, that's what it is. So you start to lose the comfort that you are gaining from a weight integrated buoyancy compensator, which brings up another good point. You notice that weight that I put in here on Helen's BC is what we call a soft weight. That's right. It's actually a pouch filled with little lead shot. Oh, it's great stuff. You can drop it on your toe, whoop, and it doesn't hurt. And they come in different sizes. They come in 2s and 3s and 4s, and if you need a lot of weight diving in cold water, 5s. I sort of suggest that you get 2s to 3s, because a 2 and a 3, may help you with the math here, is a 5. Or if you need 4 pounds, 2 2s, and so on. That way, if you need to adjust, if you need to take a couple of pounds off, you can take a 2 pound out. If you have only 5 pound soft weights, and you need to take out 2 pounds, a pair of scissors maybe, you see, use small weights, but just double them up. Anyway, these soft weights are fantastic, partly because they're soft. You can put them in the BC, they don't hurt your hips, particularly you ladies out there. Ladies are always complaining about their hips. I think it's fantastic. I love hips, but they do tend to protrude, and don't tell me to stop talking about women. And they bang into your hip bones. Soft weights are the answer. You can use hard weights. You can get hard weights to go into the BC, but they're hard weights. They're not comfortable. So if you do decide to get a new BC, and you pay $600 or $700 or $800 for a top quality, full-featured, weight-integrated BC, for gosh sake, spend another $20 and get soft weights for it. So Helen, with your 7 mil suit, you probably need, I'm going to guess you're small, I'm going to guess you probably need about 16, 18 pounds. Which means, if you're going to put 10 or 12 into the BC, well, right, okay, you don't want the BC to be too heavy. Don't forget you have to carry this tank, reg, and BC. Tank, 35 pounds, regulator, 8 pounds, BC, 5 pounds, all right? You're already up to almost 40 pounds. You're not going to put another 16 pounds. You're not going to put another 16 pounds. You'd be dragging that tank over the ground. So what you need to do then is get a small weight belt. This is the beauty of a weight-integrated BC. You got some of the weights in the BC, it's comfortable, not too heavy. Now you get a weight belt. And you get a small weight belt. You can get weight belts like this. These are neoprene Velcro closures. You open the weight belt up, and again, you can use soft weights in these, makes it really comfortable, different sizes. Or you can just get a standard weight belt, any old standard weight belt, 2-inch nylon webbing with the belt and buckle. Look, it's got a stainless steel pin. I haven't seen those before. And weights, whatever you need. But the point is, you'll only need 6 or 8 pounds. So if you put 10 in here, 6 in your weight belt, that's nothing. A 6-pound weight belt is nothing. And you're all set. Comfortable. You've got a weight belt that you can drop in an emergency. You've got a BC that takes weights, weight integrated. You can drop them in an emergency if you need to. It's comfortable. Fantastic. Now, ladies in particular, small thing, because if I don't do this, some people will comment. Ladies in particular comment and they say, Alec, I've taken your advice, I've done this, I've split the weights up, everything's perfect, but my boots keep rising to the surface. I don't know why. Maybe somebody else, I've looked at this, I've asked people, I have no idea why, but for some strange reason, women have a problem keeping their feet underwater so they can fin properly. Not so much with guys, maybe some guys, but not so much. But a lot of ladies comment and they ask, what can I do to keep my feet under the water? Well, get ankle weights. Ankle weights. They're just little soft weights like this. Snap it around your ankle, and it'll keep your feet down where they're supposed to be so you can fin properly as you're going along. And then these ankle weights, they actually don't count too much towards your overall weight for some strange reason. So if you need 16 pounds, you still need 16 pounds, even though you have a 1-pound ankle weight on. These really don't count too much. But there you go. Point to all of this is if you spread out your weight requirements over your whole body, it's a lot more comfortable, it's easier to carry, and you'll find that your attitude in the water, I don't mean your attitude, I mean your attitude up, down, left, and right like this, is also much more controlled. I think you'll find the dives a lot more enjoyable, and probably safer too. Anyway, let's go diving. All right, guys, thanks very much. I hope there's something in there for you all. Keep those comments coming. Maybe I can answer some more of your questions. Talk to you soon, Alec, Peirce Scuba.